Good evening, Facebook, and welcome to Whiskey Wednesday, episode 15. I'll give it a little second for a few of you guys to jump on, but we're back in the flat. Hey guys, welcome to episode 15. Today, guys, I'm going to be chatting with a great friend of mine who I met on Hollyoaks, which was one of my first biggest jobs, and he looked after me a lot. Award-winning director Sean Glynn. He's going to take us through everything, all his habits for success, how he balances work and life, being a family man, how he got into the industry, what he's up to, everything. So if you've got any questions for Sean, who has been a resident director on some of Britain's best loved shows, Hollyoaks for one, Holby City, Casualty, and most recently London Kills, which isn't out yet, just ask away, guys. Remember, we're here for you. So whatever it is, there's no such thing as a dumb question. The only dumb question is the one that isn't asked. So ask whatever you want. We're a team here, and we're gonna work this out and grow together. And like I said, directing, there are courses for that out there, but who the hell knows how to get into this thing? Here's your perfect opportunity to learn from someone who is been consistently working in this industry, a rock hard industry, for many, many years. Okay, without further ado, welcome Sean Glynn, aka Gaston. Hey, buddy.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to see you. I'm good. Hey, Culpinder. Right, first things first, get your glass, mate. We have to have a cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Take a sip of that bad boy. Right, so here we are in my flat. So what I like to do, guys, Sean, sorry, for the guys at home, we always start at what you're doing right now, where we are right now, and then we go right back to the beginning, how it started. So, cool. Obviously, just tell us what you're working on right now.
So, literally just finished a show called London Kills, which Steve mentioned. Literally just finished post on that last week. That was a show set in London for the American market. It was a show about what's called an MIT, a murder investigation team.
Okay.
For me, what was great about it was conceptually quite different than anything I've worked on recently, in terms of the construct of the script and also the practical approach to shooting it. So we'd go out on location in 1 week, probably 40 to 50% of the week would be on location, which is massive.
That is, yeah, wow.
So, and we're set in the city in Aldgate, which is great. So I grew up in London, love London, but we moved out of London about 12 years ago now, and most of my work can be all over the country, in the northwest or the northeast or Wales or wherever. But to work in central London is a rare thing, so it was great from that point of view. And all the good things about London, the architecture, which I love. I'm a big fan of certainly modern architecture, so it's great to shoot all of that. As ever in this business, it's about the team of people you have around you, right? I'm only as good as the team around me, and my goodness, as a director, you really do depend on your team. I'm
laughing because I know exactly how.
From cast to crew, and also the people you work for, your producers and your series producers. But it was a great tight-knit group of people, and certainly a job I really, really enjoyed. So yeah. That's the most recent thing.
That's amazing. So what is it about? Can you tell us a bit? So it's a murder investigation set in London. Is there any? Can you give it? You don't have to if you're not allowed to. Just tell us when it comes out.
So it's for distribution in the US at the moment.
Right. Okay.
On like a Netflix, and a BritBox channel. It's going to MIPCOM, which is the annual television sales marketing conference in France, where it'll be sold. And no doubt either be bought up by a terrestrial channel, or it will go on to something like Netflix in the UK, something like that. Sharon Small and Hugo Spear are the leads. Okay. Two great actors, actresses, and it was great fun to work on. And when you can attract talent like that, it's a lot easier to sell.
Yeah.
And it is a business, you know, you're
Yeah.
selling a product. So we were very fortunate to have those two guys in particular involved in the project. So it should hopefully see British shores some point in the next 12 months.
Amazing. So yeah, well, you're right. It is a business. It's not called show off or show up. It's called show business, right? So that's the deal. So okay, that's quality. So the next 12 months we'll get to see that. This is how long things take to come out. So let's talk about, because obviously in our industry, especially for you as a director, you're like the master of the ship on set. You've got all these different areas to look after. So as we both know in this industry, sometimes you can be working with tough people.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know where you're going with this.
I'm being very PC. There's a lot of egos. So when that happens on set and someone is being really, really difficult, whether it's crew or cast, how do you as a director inspire the team to stay positive and work in what is a privilege to work in our industry, to work and be paid to work in the arts is ridiculous. It's an absolute privilege. So how do you rein them back in and get everyone singing from the same hymn sheet?
Well, I think the first thing you've said is really, really important. It is. I mean, I always, as a mate of ours, actually, Ashley always has a slight takes a mick out of me. I think it's the best job in the world. I genuinely think I've got the best job in the world. And when we're in stressful situations like what he'll often say, "Oh, it's the best job in the world." Is it sometimes? It's the best job in the world.
Is that Ashley Taylor Dawson?
Yeah. To answer your question, I mean, look, my job is, you know, I'm like a conduit really. I'm there to allow people to do their best work, to be creative, to be passionate. And sometimes to be challenging, and that's okay. I mean, that, you know, conflict is an essential part of growth and moving forward.
Love that.
I think, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I have to try and counterbalance different personalities.
Yeah.
You know, if I were to come on set and kind of, this is this way or no way, or the highway, as the saying goes, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
We're all freelance.
Yeah.
Cast, crew, we all go from job to job. And I think, one, it's, you know, out of just pure respect. I mean, you know, for me, the team is everything. And that homogenous approach to making or telling a story is essential. As in life, you know, I do think if you can get the best out of people, all with a ship pointing in the same direction, you're onto a winner. And part of my job is to make sure that we get that from the start, and there's always conflict. You've got time is one of the biggest pressures in this game. But with regards to those, I rarely come across those kind of characters. Every now and then it happens, and again that's great. I love a challenge because I'm thinking, it's like, okay, how do I deal with this? You're taking all of your experiences from previous jobs or life, but ultimately you're reacting to a situation, and my job is to get a productive outcome. And if I can do that, I'll pretty much do anything to ensure that, and also to ensure that everyone else in that environment is comfortable in working in that situation. You know, they don't feel oppressed or I really feel anxious, because people need to be relaxed to do their best work, in my opinion.
100%. I mean, like, I got to work with you. I had the privilege on a few occasions on Hollyoaks, and it was one of my most memorable experiences, because acting is, with a lot of stuff, it's confidence. So you need that sometimes. Actors are the most insecure, like, humans on earth. So sometimes they need to be like a little child being told, "You're really good." You know? It literally, isn't it? It gives you the confidence to believe in what you're doing. So we had a couple of questions come up. Someone, Laura, I think it was, asked, what is the most difficult project you've worked on so far?
Wow. Well, I think, to be fair, I mean, you know, if a job is easy, you're not really doing your job, because there are always natural challenges.
Awesome.
There are different stories that you're telling, and me, I mean, the way I work, I'll always push myself. I'll push and try and better myself and do the best and try and do something new, or that's always serving the story. In terms of, you know, jobs, some jobs might be difficult because you're away from home for a lot of the time. That's personally challenging, and those jobs, you know, are difficult. There are jobs where you have less time to shoot things. So you have to approach it a different way. Say, okay, right, I'm going to take this skill set and I'm going to approach it with this attitude. and that attitude has to always be positive. You
Yeah.
know, that's what's going to get you through. And there are other jobs where, you know, like this job I've just done, London Kills, it was really good because it was a totally different way of working.
Yeah.
It was, this is the way it has to work.
Amazing.
And we've got to prove the method that it will work.
Yeah.
And I think if you get enough people that believe in that
Yeah.
and they're passionate about it, then you can achieve things that have not been done before. And that certainly, in my experience, was a case of that, doing something totally new. I mean, it was very tiring. It was, you know, and working in this business, and look, man, we tell stories for a living. It's not
ridiculous. We're not saving lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not packing parachutes, but
Yeah.
it is. It can be tiring, long hours, and it can be stressful in terms of you as a director, you're constantly on. I think I heard a quote someone say a few weeks back. On average, a director gets asked about 150 questions a day. So you're constantly dealing with information, whilst underneath trying to keep the ship steered. So you know, so every job has different challenges. So I wouldn't say there's any one that stands out as being tougher than the other. They all have their own set of challenges.
That's amazing. Hey guys, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Let's get as many people on this because you're missing golden nuggets. We did have another question. I think it was from Sam. She asked, did you act before you got into directing?
No way. No way. Just say a quick hello to Elaine. That's my cousin in Ireland. Hi, Elaine.
Hey, Elaine. How you doing? Yeah, if anyone pops up, say, hey, Roo, all good, all good. So you didn't?
No, I didn't. I mean, what I did do, actually, so I'll tell you a very quick story. I started in commercials in the late 80s, early 90s. And I worked for a guy called Sid Robeson, who was a fantastic guy, a real massive mentor to me.
Yeah.
And he was a contemporary of people like Ridley Scott, Alan Parker, Tony Scott. He made commercials. He didn't go into films.
Right, okay.
But so he was based in Soho. His company was based in Soho. And I started working for him as a what you call a runner.
Yeah.
Effectively, someone that's going to do pretty much anything, make the tea. You know, so I started at the bottom. I didn't know anyone in the industry. I had no family contacts. I just decided, you know what? I did one of my A-levels was photography, and I was going to go off and do a sports degree, funnily enough.
Yeah, no, it's not funnly enough. The guy's in ridiculous shape, guys, but we're going to talk about that in a bit. But continue with your story, mate.
So, and I love sport, and I'm passionate about health and fitness.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was going to go away and do this degree in sports management, and I got a job in the summer as a runner, because photography was one of my other passions. Yeah. Working for Sid Robeson and Partners, and I was there for a couple of years before I went out as a freelance. Anyway, one of these days we were doing a casting session for actors. Okay. And in commercials, casting sessions, which you may, I'm sure, be able to tell us all about. It's not like you've got a big long script and you're doing a reading, you're doing some scenes, you can talk about the emotion, and get a bit deep about stuff. It was like, so smile, or, you know, show me your grumpy face, and stuff like that. So it's quite challenging. I think if you've been to a drama school for 3 years, and you're thinking, my God, how many smiles do you want me to give you? I know. Anyway, I was sat in this session and I was operating the camera, and I remember it got really awkward because this lovely director was sat with this lovely actor, and he was saying these sorts of things. Well, can you just show us what would happen when, you know, what about if you won a bet last night? And this,
I'm
was an actress
laughing,
actually. She was kind of going.
I'm laughing because I've been there.
And, anyway, it was really difficult. And what I learnt from that moment was that he found it very difficult to talk to this actress. He didn't have the language. And actors do work in a certain language that you need to be able to communicate. That's the most important thing, actually, as a director, is to be able to communicate. And so I thought, no, I never want to be in a situation where I'm stood in front of an actor or actors or a crew, and I'm thinking, I don't know how to speak to this. I can talk to you as a person, but how can I talk to you about emotion and depth and technique and character? And so I decided from that moment on, I was going to go and do an acting course. And I did a drama course at City Lit Institute in Stukely Street. It was just in Covent Garden. And it was a great course. It was a 2-year course, part-time course, because I had to keep working. And it was based on the method, or Stanislavski method. You know, Uta Hagen, respect for acting, all that kind of stuff. So for me, that was great because I don't have necessarily a classical background. So I'm effectively, you know,
you're a jock, man. You're a jock.
You know, so I wasn't. You know, I did my English A levels and O levels, but it wasn't a passion of mine. I get Shakespeare. it's not here. For me, it's got to be here.
Oh,
you know.
Yeah.
But the method, or Stanislavski, and the whole process of the method, I could really get, because it's based on emotional recall, and how you feel about things. So I thought, I get that, I understand that, you know. So I did this 2-year course. It was amazing. And as a result, it's kind of given me, you know, it's helped me out so much in my career, where I've been able to sit with an actor, and sometimes it does get like that, you know. If an actor feels they can't get to the root of what they're trying to say, I'm not talking about dialogue, I'm talking about how they're feeling and what's going on inside, to be able to have a quiet conversation about things that may or may not, you know, stimulate them or motivate them to produce something, and that is quite a personal relationship as well with you. It's a professional relationship, but ultimately you're pulling at things that, you know, like emotional strings that may have a bearing on their real life, and that they're trying to bring to. So you've got to protect that as well. You've got to protect them. So that was a great thing to do. So I would strongly recommend anyone that wants to direct, if spend as much time on set as you can. And I wasn't a director always. I've done many other jobs. It took me a long time to get to where I want to.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So get involved. Follow actors. Watch acting workshops. Watch YouTube workshops. And watch this man's short film, Abe, which is an acting masterclass.
Oh, mate, thank you so much. Well, it's everything that you just said there, because I always, when people ask me about you and what it was like to work with you, I always say, well, he's an actor's director. And when they ask me, what do you mean by that? I went, he knows the language of actors. Because like I said earlier, we're putting our souls on the line. You know, it's very strange, because you're probably at the bottom end of the pecking order if you're not a top star. So if you get, say, a project that's not too great, you know, no one sees the director, or they see the actors and they go, he's rubbish or she's rubbish. So you're really putting yourself on the line there. And when you do 18, 19-hour shoots, and you're absolutely knackered mentally, even though it's the best job in the world, you're still a human, you know, and at the end of a 19-hour shift, you've got this ridiculously big scene to do where it's pulling at all your heartstrings. You've got to really give it everything you've got. Your dad's just died or whatever it is, and you're at the end of the day and you feel like you're about to die. And then that's when someone as amazing as Sean steps in and goes, just take a breath. Just go and do what you need to do, and come back and just freaking sit in it. It's all good. And you need that. A good leader, a good director knows instinctually when his actors or her actors, if you're a female director, needs just to give them that, like, you're all right, mate, it's all good. Laura asked a question, who has inspired you the most in your career?
Oh, the most. Wow. Again, that's difficult to define one person. Great question. I would say there've been one of the first people would be Sid Robeson, who sadly he passed away 2 years ago now. Okay. Great guy. And what inspired me about him was that he was a guy from working class background, wasn't particularly educated, but gone into it through photography. And he was a creative person. And what I loved about working with Sid, he was very direct, very down to earth. Anyone that knew him will tell you this. But he was very open and very supportive. And I guess I saw someone in this business that I could relate to. Yeah. Whereas previously I perhaps hadn't, because I didn't know anyone. Yeah. You know, but I saw someone and thought, oh, okay, you're sort of normal, because if you're not in this business, you're thinking, they're so like,
everyone's crazy,
you know, or I could never, you know, it's like another universe, and it's not. No. It really isn't. And anyone that works in this business will tell you that, you know, everyone's just 99% of people are pretty normal and rational.
99, there's still not 1%.
There is the crazy 1%.
Yeah.
So Sid would be one. There's a long-time collaborator who I know you know, and I know very well, Brian Kirkwood, who's the executive producer on Hollyoaks and has been executive producer on EastEnders, all sorts of. Anyway, great guy, and has been incredibly loyal to me, and I love working with him because, again, he's just very honest, very open, and you know, when you're working for a boss, for a producer, obviously there's that sort of boss, worker relationship. But again, he's someone that lets you be you, and you can just be honest. And if you're not sure about something, you're not sure what something means, what we're trying to say with this scene or this this story beat, he'd just tell you.
Yeah.
And so I love working with him, and I have done for a very long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's sort of, it's my family, and because that's, I've got two great boys, I've got a beautiful wife, Annabelle, and I'm away from home a lot. So those guys I'm thinking about every day, and they allow me, to come and play and tell stories, and not that they wouldn't, allow me to do it, but it's difficult, it's challenging, and I miss them greatly, and they miss me, but ultimately they inspire me to want to do. If I'm going to be away from home, I'm going to do my damn best to produce my best work. And I know we'll talk about this one, but life is for living. Work, play, exercise, those kind of things. So those roughly speaking are my three biggest inspirations, amongst many others, including some great directors.
Yeah, I've got a lot to thank Brian for as well. Brian was the first one I was getting before Hollyoaks, which was my biggest television job. It opened up the doors for me. Before that, I'd done a lot of theatre, and I was getting like really close, like down to the last two for Honest, which was a show fronted by Amanda Redman on Channel 4, down to the last two for this, that and the other. And they'd just look at my CV and go, "Oh, but you've not done any telly." I was like that in my head. I'm thinking, "Fucking hell, you knew that 5 auditions ago. Why'd you get me down the last two and then say that? You knew that 2 months ago." But Brian was the first one who gave me that big gig, that opening. So yeah, he's an incredible guy, and everything that you said there, I completely and utterly agree with. Because I remember I put so much pressure on myself in the first month. I was shocking. I was like a plank of wood, because I'd had sleepless nights a lot. I was so nervous, and I remember he just like came up to me in the canteen. He went, "Steve, let's have a little chat," and he went, "Just enjoy it, mate." He went, "Just enjoy it." He went, "You're not coming across great at the moment, but that's okay. We understand that you stop putting so much pressure on yourself. Relax and enjoy it." That's all I needed to hear.
That's a great note.
And then, hey, Dav, just relax and enjoy it. So, okay, we're going to talk about the work-life balance in a bit, but what I want to do now is go right back to the start. So, a bit about your childhood and what you were doing before you were a director, like the kind of shit job, because we all do shit jobs, we have to, and they're not shit jobs. Every job has honour. It gets you to where you want to go. I think everyone needs to get down and dirty and know how to graft properly, because you appreciate the journey a hell of a lot more. So tell us about some of your like not so great jobs and how you got into directing in the first place.
Well, I think kind of in terms of jobs, I used to work at a restaurant as a waiter. Yeah. Not a very, very good waiter. I think I lasted probably about 3 weeks, and they were actually family friends, lovely people, and they ran this sort of.
Are they still family friends?
Yeah.
They just spit in your food every time you go around, mate.
But I was genuinely really, really poor. I think I was 16 at the time, so I was just leaving school, going to college, and I lasted about 3. In fact, I started as a waiter, and I think after 2 weeks, they said you can't wait. You're not a waiter. I said, okay, well look, I still need to work. Anyway, I became a dishwasher.
Right. Okay.
Oh my God! And it's one of those things. The smell of a commercial kitchen when you go in there, man. I mean, and particularly the dishwasher. It's not nice. Brutal. It's not pretty. It's horrible. It's brutal. It's a smell that stays with you forever. Yeah. So that was my sort of brief working relationship before. As I say, I went to college.
Did you go to university?
So no, I didn't. So very quickly. So I was at school, a great school in Richmond, Twickenham area, and I. Was big into my sport, so love sport, and I thought I'd just coast along with my exams. I took back then they were called O levels. Yeah, called GCSEs now.
GCSEs.
Anyway, I did 12 of these things and thought, I'll probably get all of them. Anyway, I came away with 2.
O levels,
and one was I didn't even have PE back then. Yeah. But one was art, and one was, I think, English. And I thought, oh no, this is not good. You know, I was expecting to go to college with all my friends, you know.
Yeah.
And so I had to retake all of my exams. But it's a great lesson for me so early on to think, do you know what? It isn't just going to happen.
Yeah.
You're going to have to work for stuff. You know, whilst you might think you're at a certain level, but actually in reality, when you get tested in those situations, I wasn't. So I retook all my O levels at Richmond College, and then did my A levels. And one of those taken O levels that I couldn't do at school was photography, which they did at the college. Awesome. It's a great place. Loved it. It was a brilliant place to go and get educated. Met loads of great friends. So I then did, one of my O-levels was photography, so I then did A-level photography, A-level sports studies and A-level sociology. Again, the plan was I was going to go and become a sports teacher or go into sports management or something like that. And even at that sort of stage in my, 16, 17 and then A-levels and whatnot, 18, 19. But when I found this connection with photography initially, where I could look at a photograph and kind of relate to it, buy into it, and certainly when you start experimenting, taking your own photographs, which I think is a great way, by the way, of starting any sort of filmmaking, because ultimately we're telling stories with pictures and dialogue and sometimes music, but it's a visual medium, and so that was really great for me, and I just kind of thought, do you know what, I've got to find something else here that's not sport related, it's not based on running around a field like a lunatic for, an hour and a half at a time. So I sent off over 250 CVs. There was things, it was called the Yellow Pages back then, but it's called the Thompson Local. But anyway,
so it's 250 CVs.
Yeah, minimum.
Minimum,
it was
250.
And they were all handwritten.
Yeah.
I then, once I got a job actually at Sid's, I learned to type. But prior to that, I couldn't type. So all handwritten. And I just looked through the Yellow Pages at production companies in London, and I just sent them off cold. And then I phoned them up, a week later.
Persistence.
Yeah, got to be persistent.
Yeah.
So out of those 250 CVs, I got 10 replies, and this was in the post, days before email.
That's quite a good return, mate, to be fair,
10%.
10% return, that's...
But they're all no.
Oh, all right. And that's normal.
They were just polite.
Yeah,
thanks,
polite
but no thanks.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, okay, I don't know anyone in the industry. What am I going to do? So I decided I'm going to go into Soho once a week, every Friday it was, and I'm going to buy this local trade magazine. It's called the Soho Runner, and it was sold pretty much just in Soho, and it's for the advertising industry.
Yeah.
And at the back there, they had adverts for all sorts of jobs, being a runner. So I'd go in every Friday religiously, get on the Piccadilly line into town, get off at Piccadilly Circus, walk into Soho, get the Soho Runner, get on the train, read the articles. And anyway, long story short, I got an interview, for a job in a post-production house, a small post-production house. It was called Paul Miller Post-Production. It was on Mead Street, in between Dean Street and Wardour Street. And I lasted 6 months. So in post-production, you work... you're not on set. You're working in sort of away from pretty much what I would consider where all the action is. It's a great job, and there's some very talented people. But it wasn't for me. I just couldn't sit in a dark room, not like communicating with people. So I made the decision. Sounds really nuts, but I made the decision to myself. Do you know what? I'm going to leave and get another job. And if I don't have this other job by the time I leave, I'm still going to leave. I made that promise to myself. And I was 19, and I look back and I was mad.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't advise that, by the way. I would keep with your job until you find something that you really want to do. But I just made this decision, and I just felt, I'm going to get something.
Yeah.
So in that final week of my notice, I was going in and out of different production houses in Soho, which are all walkable.
Yeah.
And got an interview at Sid Robeson and Partners, and I got the job. And it was in commercial filmmaking. Yeah. So you're doing shoots, So again, that was the thing that attracted me. I was like, oh my god, this I'd been to one film shoot before, And also what I loved about it was the mix of people, all walks of life, all classes, races, sexes. It was brilliant. Yeah. So I kind of thought, I can't feel I can fit in here. I didn't have to be this or that. I could just be me. You. And so it was a good fit for me at the time. So got a job at Sid's, stayed there for a couple of years, and left there in '92. And I did my first. I went out as a freelance. You get like it's like a diary service, like a sort of like an agent.
Yeah.
I was with Callbox, Patsy Brinkworth. She was amazing. Looked after me for a good few years, and I went out as a freelance, third assistant director.
Yeah.
And I got my first film in 1994 as a third AD. It was called a third AD, and it was a film called The Feast of July, which is a Merchant Ivory film. So it's a big period film. And I learnt loads, but did I work? You were up at 5 every morning because it was costume drama. So crowd calls of 1,000 people, 1,000 supporting artists. So I was up really early, going to bed really late, and it was 6-day weeks. It was tough. We were shooting in Birmingham and Wales, but it was a great introduction into the work ethic that you have to have if you want to do well. Now, thankfully, there are rules and regulations in place these days. Put in place by the government. You don't do those silly hours, but you still put in long hours, particularly if you want to succeed, because you're prepping before you go to work. You might start at 8. But actually, I mean, I'm up at 5.
Storyboard,
well, you're thinking about your day ahead, and also getting all those other things you want to fit into your day, like exercise, and that's we'll talk about that later.
100%.
But so you have to make it part of. It can be tough. If you let it be tough, but it can be a lot of fun. If you accept that you're going to work hard, but if you can have fun along the way, and work and meet with different, creative, eclectic, hilarious people, it can be great.
There was a great question. I'm going to scroll back to it. So here it is. Let me see. You've done many castings. What is it that makes that actor, person you cast stand out? Is it the face fits and you can work with it? Is it the acting or pure ability? What is it? So when someone comes in for auditions and stuff, what is it that makes you go, it's that guy or that girl?
So the way castings work, well, if you're doing a serial show, like a Casualty or a Holby, you more often than not you may be casting characters that are either related or they have a bearing on maybe a central character in the show. So you're thinking about that when you're going into the casting, and about how they might fit and how they might work. But for me, ultimately, it's always it's an instinct. It's it's that sixth sense without sounding too trite about it. It's you can't explain it. I'll either look at someone and I'll talk to them, and I can feel a bond or a connection that they understand. And by the way, that can happen with more than one person in the casting session. And that's when it gets tricky. But for me, it's very much about the connection. And I know you do think about things like, I mean, I've cast people thinking they could be difficult to work with, but they're so good that there's no way I'm not going to go with them. But what's great is when you work with people that are really talented, they really get it, and they're lovely people. Because there's enough tension at various times on a set that's not created by any other thing that like I say, time. But so it really is just an innate thing. You couldn't. I have to go on what my heart feels, and if I've kind of got that, I feel I've got that connection with someone. If I believe them, that's probably the best way to answer that. I could have just said that at the start. If I believe them, if I look at them and I look them dead in the eye and I believe what they're saying and what they're they're trying to play.
That's amazing. Has it ever been like, an actor or actress who's walked in and you've just gone, holy, that was like the best thing I've ever seen? Have you ever had that moment where you've just gone, wow, that was actually insane? So I just quickly say hello to Julia. I'll be. Julia comes to my spin classes. Hi, Julia. Hey, Julia. Hey, Emma.
So yes, and it's very difficult for actors to then come in thereafter. Because you do, and actually that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that moment where you just, I mean, I say if we were reading a scene, we might have 3 or 4 scenes to read. If I'm asking an actor to read it just once, and I'll say the next scene, it'll either be because I'm thinking not sure, or I'm thinking I just don't need to see much more. And it's very difficult thereafter because, and also, by the way, you should know this, that when a door closes in a casting session, you guys, or an actor walks out the door, you'll look at your producer if they're in the room with you, or your casting director, and you'll kind of have you know, an unspoken acknowledgement. Yeah, they were great, or okay, love to see more. Oh, and every now and then when you get those people that smash it out of the park, you just look at them and go, that's that then.
Done.
Yeah.
And so that's the director-producer side of things. When an actor finishes and goes out of a casting room, they're like that. That was the worst. No, I'm only joking. So nowadays, I'm happy with what I'm doing, but it's bizarre because I've literally, Sean, I've been cast off in shows that I never. Hey,
sorry, that's
all right. Say hello to everyone.
Sorry,
I've been cast in shows where I've literally read one scene and they went, yeah, that's it, and I've been like, oh, that must have been really shit. I haven't got that, and then I've got the call and I've gone, oh, and then there's been shows where I've got like months of auditions and tests and stuff, and then nothing. And then recently, when I bumped into you again at BBC, you were doing Holby, and I was auditioning for Doctors. I'm walking out thinking, oh, that was a nightmare, because there was literally I'm in one episode. I got the job, by the way, which is awesome. My first job at the BBC, but it was like 7 scenes. That was the entire episode. So I thought, oh, I'll have to do 1 or 2. I literally did every single scene, so I was like, oh, this is a bit, and I just thought, oh man, I can't have been very. You just never know. I was like, I can't have been giving them what they wanted, but you should never second guess and give them what you as an artist are there to give them. Do you know, it's that you give them. But it was bizarre, so you just never ever know, guys. All you can do is go in there, be yourself, and do your work your way. Never try to think about what you think they want to see. Give them what you know you can give, and you're going to be laughing.
That's a really good point, actually. And 2 things on that. One, the first thing to say is there's no right or wrong. Mm-hmm. There's no, that's the right way to do that, or that's wrong. It's just subjective. It's so subjective. What I might see in a performance, someone else might not see, and that's the beauty of telling stories. Actually, and we'll go to a film and someone say, "I loved. Do you remember that? Oh, the Shawshank Redemption is brilliant." And then you hear, "No, it's so long. It's so boring." Like, oh my God, how did you not get that? That's such a beautiful film. You know, so that it is subjective. You know, and the other thing to say is that as directors, and as everyone in this industry, at any walk of life, but as directors, we go through that process as well. When you're sat. Because every 3 months or so, you're on to your next job. Now, if it's a new job, you know, and you're going for a new job, you're sat in front of a producer, maybe a series producer, maybe an executive producer, maybe all 3. And I've done it on Skype, on FaceTime. I do it in person lots. And you're going through that similar thing. You're thinking, but that didn't go well. No, I've definitely not got that.
So directors get it too.
And then you get the call and think, oh my God. And other ones you think, yes. Nailed that, smashed it, and no, you didn't get it. So, but I think that's a really good point. Actually, just be you, and be the best version of you, because you can't be someone else that you think someone else wants you to be. You're just so confused. You just got to be you, be the best you, and you know, you'll either be the right fit and it'll be great, or you won't, and you just move on to the next one and the next one and the next one.
I mean, recently it's such a bizarre position I'm in now, because I'm kind of like, when I get an audition now, guys, I get so excited. Hey.
That's my mum.
Is it? Hey, mum.
Sorry.
But when I get an audition now, I get so excited, especially if the script's good, because I don't see it as an audition anymore. I'm getting to act, and I go, oh, look who I get to play today. And that's been a game changer for me, because when I first started in this game, I used to pay to go to like weekend drama clubs and stuff. You forget that when you become a professional. It becomes too much of a job. It should never be a job. When something that you love becomes a job, you know that you've lost your way, and you need to find that. Life should never be about having a job. You know, you need to have a vocation, and you want to turn your vocation into a vacation. Because I'm on holiday, guys. This is fun, man. I get to work with people like Sean and create stories. We tell stories for a living. That's freaking nuts. That's nuts. And every single one of you who is watching, whether it's acting, directing, business, you know, you can do whatever you want as long as you have discipline, persistence. All right. Sean, this is a one for me personally as well, because it's something that I aspire to have a family one day, be married and have kids. I think having a family is very, very important. It's something that I'm really looking forward to. You're a massive family man, and I've got incredible respect for that. How do you balance a ridiculously busy career, that work-life balance, to make sure that everything is...
Oh, it's a breeze, man. It's easy. It's a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Listen, I get the easy part of the deal, to be totally honest with you. I really do. It is difficult travelling and doing that kind of stuff, but I don't, it genuinely is my wife, Annabelle, that has the tougher end of the deal, because she's dealing with the children every day, she's dealing with school every day, and by the way, she's got her own businesses that she runs.
Wow.
So when I'm calling in at night, hi darling, how are you? How's your day? It's either been great or it's not been great. Yeah. It really, I just got to make sure at the weekends our time is protective, and anyone that knows us well, knows that we're quite insular in that respect, because we have such little time together as a family. And it's Saturday morning, we both, Annabelle runs a fitness business as one of her businesses.
And what's that called?
It's Shape Up Fitness.
And where is it?
That's in Lymington on the south coast in the New Forest.
If you're in Lymington in the south coast and you want guns like twice the size of these, go to Lymington. All right, I'm telling you guys. Shape Up Fitness in Lymington. Cool. So
Annabelle runs that all week, as well as another business that she's just started. We've just started actually, which is fantastic, really, really interesting. I do spin class first thing Saturday morning, 8 o'clock. So if I've got in at midnight the night before from wherever part of the country or another country, get that class done. The boys are at football from 9 o'clock till 11. Then some chores locally. And then we sit down for lunch, and Saturday afternoon is our kind of family time. And when I'm shooting, I'm 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. I'm away. I'm back travelling, and
crazy schedule.
It is crazy, and it does have a bearing on on the whole work-life balance thing. And to be honest, at times it isn't balance. But it's an acceptance of this is for us right now. Annabelle knows how passionate I am about what I do. She's amazing support. In fact, I'm very lucky because Annabelle's whole family are in the business. Her mother is a famous actress, Isabel Black, big in the 70s, 80s and 90s. Did a lot of the Hammer House of Horror films.
Oh, wow.
My father-in-law, Jimmy...
Do you want to come on the show?
Jimmy Gatward, James Gatward, again, if you IMDb him, James Gatward, Jimmy Gatward, he's done just so much stuff. And I met Annabelle through, I was doing a show called The Bill, and her auntie, Alison Black, introduced us, and we went on a blind date and whatnot. But so I met Annabelle through working in the industry, and I think, it does require that level of support, personal support, if you want to, if you want to be able to be free to kind of do what, what you want to do, which is pursue a career, in this industry.
That's amazing. So basically you're saying your teammates, you're on the same page, you understand.
Sorry, someone says I hate spin class.
Oh, it's Emma. Hey, Emma.
Yeah, I get that.
Emma's done incredibly well recently. She's been struggling for a while with her weight, and she's lost about 2 or 3 stone.
Amazing, congratulations.
So she's getting there, and she's always tuning in. Her and her sister, so awesomeness. But so you're saying that you need you're on the same page. You communicate clearly. You protect that time that you have together is incredibly precious. So you protect it. Yeah, these are for me, guys, not just you. I'm taking notes because I want a teammate. Do you know what? We all do. Humans are social animals. We thrive better in society with the correct companion. But it's about being understanding and communicating, speaking to each other, and you sound like you've got an amazing balance. And that's awesome.
I'm lucky. I feel very, very, very lucky. But like anything, you have to work at it. You have to put the effort in and the time. And so recently, this year actually decided for the first time in years that we were going to take a proper family holiday. And my eldest son went to the Gothia World Cup, played football in Gothenburg in Sweden. We went out there as a family to support him.
That's amazing. He played in the World Cup?
Yeah, Youth World Cup, yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean,
was that for England?
He played, how it works, you play club sides from all over the world. So he represented England but not for England. So he played for a side called the District Lions.
Okay.
But it was, I mean, the opening ceremony was 54,000 people. It was or maybe
Wow.
62. It was like the Olympics opening ceremony. It was amazing. So we went there as a family for the first time, and my best friend lives in Sweden. So it was just really good to have real family time, and we had 3 weeks off, and then went and did London Kill. So that's such a rarity to be able to do that. But I made a decision. You know what? I've got to do this. You know, but it's so difficult in this job because the next job comes and the next job, and you know, if you love your work, it's very difficult to turn that down. But you know what? You know, it's about getting a balance.
Moment.
Yeah, so proud, so proud.
Someone asked a really cool question earlier. Let me find it. Here it is. Now, guys, great episode tonight. Sean, is there anything you find personally is crucial to having a daily, weekly routine to keep focused and on the ball with your aspirations? Great question.
Habit.
There you go, habit. So
I think you just have to try and create a habit, and if it's something that's difficult for you, let's say it's exercise, you've got to break it down into what your end game is, what's your end goal, what are you visualizing, what are you seeing as, what is it you want to change in life, what do you want to improve, and so you've got to put together a plan to achieve that. It's the same with shooting, working. You've got to plan. You've got to plan, prep. It's all in the prep. You know, the shooting is just the execution. It's the fun bit. The planning of it is the tough bit because you're working out all the calculations of you know the different ways you could shoot something. So it's the same with anything in life. I think you've just got to be prepped and planned, and you know that will serve you well. And part of that, for example, you know, I love health and exercise, and you know, I give myself half an hour to 45 minutes every day. Now, most days I'm up at 5 to do that.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people say to me, "Oh, God, that's so tough." Listen, I don't get up at 5 thinking, "Oh, this is great. I'm loving this. I love
discipline, right?"
But the payoff is tenfold. Yeah. You know, because I go to work feeling energized, feeling good, and I'm on. You know,
you're on freaking fire.
Yeah, and you know, and your day, you've been going for a few hours, and some people are just still waking up. And part of my job is I've got to do that anyway. But you create a habit, so that's something I'm still learning to do with other things, like with this new business that we just started. It's about creating time to build that business, so you've got a habit that forms, that you're doing something daily that's going to pay off. You've got to look at the long game. Would be my advice. Set your visualization, set your goal, and then just work out a plan of how to get there.
So basically, preparation, guys, is the key to success. Consistency, you mentioned there. Consistency is a mother of mastery. So the more consistent you are with your habits, the more of a master you're going to become, as long as you keep that habit going for a consistent amount of time. And preparation is the key to success. That's amazing, dude. So that ties in nicely to like me and you. Like straight away we had that, but I can remember the first time I tipped up on set. I was like, who's this big bastard? Who's this director who's got bigger arms than me? I'm not having that. So we're both like massive. You touched on fitness a little there.
Ash is just watching.
Is he? All right, Ashley Taylor Dawson. We're getting you on here soon, mate. We've just been talking about you, so your ears must be burning. Tell me about like fitness. You all guys, you know my boring story, right? Let's focus on Sean.
My boring story.
What does it mean to you, and what qualities do you get from it, and what would your life be like? What do you think your life would be like if you didn't have a regimented fitness regime?
Well, I mean, firstly, for me, and certainly when I was younger, it was sport orientated. So rugby was my big passion. So it was about, you know, training and exercising I played every sport going, but rugby was my passion and still is. You know, so I trained for that. But as I got older and I wasn't ever going to become a professional rugby player, it's about, for me, it's more of a mental thing. So when I'm exercising and training, I'm thinking about the day ahead. I'm thinking about what plans I've got, what goals I've got, and I'm getting mentally prepared. So, and that's half the skill of getting through it as well, actually. You know, it's tough. I mean, it can be tough. Some days are breeze, and other days you wake up and you're thinking...
You would still be a beast of man is a machine, mate. Yeah.
I'll be with him soon.
Oh, right. Are you back on the Oaks?
Yeah. We've got a couple of weeks. We've got some sessions lined up.
Cool.
But yeah,
I'll be tuning in, lads.
It's really. I mean, I could never imagine my life without him. Thank God, I'm physically able to do stuff. But I've had back issues over the years, and I think. So one of the things I work on is a weekness, my back, and over the past 2 years I've been working lots more on that and certain exercises to strengthen that. And so I'll always be doing exercise of some sort, whether it's just walking, and up until hopefully the day is no more. So I just think that's key. Love you guys. Keep the
Cheers, mate. Ash, we're going to get you on the show next time you're in London, or I'll come down to Manchester. We'll do it in your club. Ashley has a quality club. Ashley's a ridiculous musician, and his whole family, his sister's insane. What's his club called? Is it Symphonia, Ash?
Yeah.
Is it Manchester?
Yeah, it's in Cheshire.
In Cheshire. Ridiculous. It's very, very cool. Symposium, that's it. Yeah. That's it, cool. Carry on with Ash. Stop interrupting us, mate. We're trying to get through an interview here. Back to you. Yeah. So you had back issues. So you're working on your weaknesses, and eventually your weaknesses become strengths, right?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. And I think look, at the end of the day, I think you've also got to be you've got to be true to yourself. So you've got to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
And whilst you can get into habits and routines that make things a lot easier, actually, if there is a day where you're feeling, there's something not right here, I've got a cold, let's say, or something like that, then I'll either taper my training down, or every now and then I won't go. But for me, it's become so habitual. Yeah. Even if I'm really right, unless I've got the flu, I'm kind of doing something. Yeah. But as I say, it's totally just to set my mind up. It's not it's not about necessarily being in great shape. That's just a byproduct of exercise. Totally. It's about the mindset and that approach. Yeah. So it's not physically how you look. That's just, as I say,
Yeah, a beautiful byproduct.
Well,
Your wife enjoys it more than you do.
Oh
there you go.
Stop it.
But no, I'm totally with you there, and I'm a total believer in. Look, guys, everyone that I've had on the show so far, we're singing from the same hymn sheet, if you notice. Success leaves clues, and we're at a level, and of course we've got massive ambitions. We want to go further and further, but we're talking about habits. We're talking about doing what is hard. 250 CVs, getting 10 replies, all no's, then creating a habit of going into London every single Friday without fail, knocking on doors until one of those doors eventually open, creating habits in your fitness. And like I always say, guys, if you do what is hard, your life's going to be easy. You're going to get to do what you love in life. But if you do what is easy, your life's going to be hard. We have a choice. You guys have a choice. So you got to go out there and smash it. So that's awesome. I've got a question that I love to ask everybody. We've got like about 8 minutes left. So, knowing what you know now, Sean, everything that you've done, if 16-year-old Sean Glynn was sat on this sofa with us right now, and you had to give him 3 pieces of advice, what would they be?
Oh, wow, that is a good question. Be true to yourself. Just be you. Be Sean, Steve, Ashley, Annabelle, Tate, Faith, whoever you are, just be you. That's the most important thing. Be true to yourself. And being different, being unique is great.
Yeah.
Never ever shun that. I always believe that passionately. Yes, we will sometimes fall into cliques, but actually I much prefer individuals personally. Yeah. So I'd say be you.
So that's one. Be you. Be yourself.
Be you, yeah. This is a really difficult one because it's only sort of come to me in later life. Yeah. But use your instinct. Be intuitive. Listen to that voice.
That inner voice.
And the more you listen to it, the more you get in tune with it, the better you become at understanding whether you're going to follow that path or follow another path. You're going to listen to this or not. And you have to sometimes be brave in life. And do you know what? The best way of learning is by making mistakes. Yeah. And realising that's the only way to learn, actually, I've found. Yeah. Is make a mistake, learn from it, move on. Yeah. And the more you do that with your intuition, your instinct, I think the better you start be able to communicate with that voice that's helping you. And I suppose the third thing and again, equally important, if not more important than all of those other two, is have fun. You know, just enjoy life, man. It's brilliant. It's an amazing life. Without getting too, gurish about it. It's a brilliant life.
Yeah.
Have fun. Whatever you're doing, whether you're working as a waiter in a restaurant, working in a stinking kitchen, cleaning dishes, whether you're directing a TV show, you're an actor, you're a footballer, you're a mum, whatever you're doing, try and have fun. Try and find the fun in everything. Yeah. And try and find that daily, because, you know, listen, we don't all float through life. I certainly don't. Bouncing around all the time thinking, life's great. Yeah. You know, but you try and find that fun, certainly within your day. And if you're lucky enough to work in the business I work in, you meet so many great, funny characters anyway that keep you buzzing. So, those would be my three.
Well, look, our friendship now, from that one, it goes back 10 years. And we've crossed paths from time to time, and now we're here again.
Sorry, there was one. There's a fourth one. It says, and have a great mum.
And have a don't forget
That's
your
the fourth
mums.
one.
Sorry, Mum. I wouldn't have forgot. To be fair, I wouldn't have forgot my mum. She'd have been number one on my list. She'd have been number one on my list. But that's amazing. 3 great pieces of advice, and it does come to you later on in life. It's so weird. Like, I've just turned 40. And I think it's the first year where I'm so relaxed and comfortable within my own skin. I go to meetings, wherever I am, I'm just me. But it took a long time for me to get there. And I love that thing that you said about making mistakes, because I think it was a Tibetan saying, fall down 7 times, get up 8. You cannot succeed, guys, without making mistakes. It's impossible. You have to be willing to make mistakes, learn from them, get back up and move on. You know, just don't sit there and dwell on it. If you're making mistakes, you're doing something right. If you're not making any mistakes, it means that you're not doing anything, you're not pushing or stretching yourself. You know, you're not growing. So constantly be willing to make mistakes. So Sean, if anyone wanted to follow you on like social media, on Instagram you're at Sean21.
At SeanG21, yeah. Twitter's Mr. Sean Glynn. Facebook Sean Glynn. You know, that's very sweet of you to say that. So.
Oh mate, no, that's what we do. It's all about, you know, giving, sharing, because there's people out there who think that, you know, I remember years before I did Oaks, before I even had the inkling that I could have been an actor, I can remember watching it and going, how the F did they do that? How did they get on there?
Same.
What did they do to do that? Like, is there some kind of like secret society that you have to do? I'm from Middlesbrough, I didn't have a clue. And as I got older, I got more and more curious, and it started burning more. I went, I need to figure this out. And I looked into drama schools and figured it out, and eventually I end up on a show that I've been watching for ages. I remember, dude, Hollyoaks on the Pull when I was 18 or 19, and I don't think I auditioned. I stood in a queue for 7, and this was before I even decided that I wanted to be an actor. Hollyoaks on the Pull, wait 7 hours, got to the front. What's your name? My name's Stephen. Where you from? Middlesbrough. Thanks. That was it. 7 hours. Fast forward 10 years, and I got one of the leads on it. I'm on it for 3 years, and it was quality. I want to follow you in my anorak. You're both bloody dreamboats. Ash, mate, you're going to have to come on the show. But yeah, guys, if you've got we've got like a minute, so I'll wrap it up here. I just want to say, Sean, thank you so much for coming down and giving us all like great nuggets of wisdom, especially personally for me with the teammate thing, you know, the work balance, which is so important, and I'm learning a lot about that. I need to learn a lot more about that. And
You're welcome, man.
Can't thank you enough. Can't thank you enough, mate.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys. Good night. God bless. See you on the other side. Peace.